Today I'm gonna show you how to build a Lego microscale train. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's finally time for a new Lego microscale habitat. So here you can see my latest regular minifigure scale habitat, but if you follow my channel you know that I have a series of microscale habitat. This was the latest. I already have 8 of them and I'm planning to complete a big stack of 10 of them that I will display soon. So let's start with a new one, and here I have my usual 8x8 base, and I already built a sort of sea, this time in dark blue. Now what I want to create today is a sort of a rocky surface, a sort of mountain. So here you can see some colorful bricks at the back. I'm gonna add a little bit of height to this build, and you can see here I'm already starting to add some reddish brown. So here basically is where we're gonna have a tunnel that is gonna go and turn this side, and we're gonna have the train running in and out this tunnel. So with this arch piece, I'm already creating the first entrance of this tunnel, and I think we can already start to add the back side of the train. So we have one carriage, very simple, done with 3 pieces that we are gonna connect to that brown stud. So here we already had a little splash of color, and we have the train going into the tunnel. I used this curved piece initially when I wanted to build this, but I have to say that actually it's not needed. Actually it's mostly giving me trouble because I don't have any connection over here because it's too narrow. I was initially thinking maybe I can have an open kind of tunnel with some arches or something like that, but because of the curve angle then turned out to be quite difficult to do. Over here I try to add also a little bit of sideways building, so we have also a little bit of snot in this build. Let me find the right angle to push this in, so we can make this mountain a little bit more interesting. And before we complete this face of the mountain, we can add the front of the train here. So here is based on a 1x3. I added again some different red parts with a bracket over here, and on this side one of this bar with a stud, and then the ice cream on top for the steam coming off the front of the train. Maybe we can add this later on in the scene so it's not gonna fall over all the time. So here we can already see the train that makes the scene more interesting, but we need to add a little bit of more rock work. Here I'm also using some brackets. I try to go in different directions, and then we are gonna also use some of these bigger wedge slopes to complete the rock face, and even going a little bit outside of the front of the microscale habitat. I will have to be careful when I stack this on top of the others because it's gonna have a couple of places where there are extra parts coming off like this, and then the tip of the mountain later. Before we continue, maybe we can start to add the walls at the back. So here we are gonna go with this a little bit of dark gray at the bottom and then the sky on top. Same thing on the other side, but with a bit of the dark blue. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of extra support at the back. So we're gonna add this and then add this one. So we have some studs on top if I wanna connect another habitat. And we have a support structure at the back, and now we are gonna fill this up with the rest of the mountain. So again, different kind of slopes. This is gonna go in here and connect right and left, and now we have completed all the mountain with the sea at the bottom and the sky over there. But as you can see, the scene is still a little bit boring, not much colors going on. It feels a bit dark, so we need to add a little bit of interesting details and accents. As you can see here, I left a couple of studs open because I want to add a couple of trees. I used these trees in other microscale habitats and mocks before. I found a couple in sand green, so I thought this would be a good scene to use this sand green instead of the usual bright green. Over here we are gonna add a boat. Previously, you might remember I used this one for the storm microscale. I will show it to you again later. For this time I went with a similar part use with this around 1x2. This time I stuck into it a tile to make it look like a sort of sailing boat. We're going to connect to the stud over there. and now the scene is way more interesting already. But again, it's missing a little bit of color, in particularly in this area. So initially I thought I wanted to do a sort of hot air balloon, and I was thinking about something like this, but I thought like it didn't look right, and it's not clear what it was. I even was thinking to make it bigger with sort of a 2x2 kind of thing, but I think then the scale wouldn't work. So I decided to go instead for an helicopter. This is a very basic build that you can find also in Lego sets, with this part, the cheese slope on front, and a headlight brake in the middle. I stuck this bar through it, so I can complete the top part by adding one more yellow component to cover that part, let's say the rotor, and then we can add this part over here, which are the blades that go in that hole in the middle of the bar over there. So already the helicopter is looking pretty nice. I'm not sure if the color is the best choice for this scene, but the blades, I only have them in yellow, so I decided to keep everything consistent. And over there I have an open stud in which I'm gonna connect this clip. This will allow me to give different angle to the helicopter, and as you can see I still have a little bit of the bar coming off at the bottom, so I can clip it there, and then I can rotate it this way, in any way I like. And this is how the final scene looks like. Actually, we need to add also that piece of ice cream that we left out earlier. So I think this overall is a pretty nice scene. Let's see how it looks next to some of the other microscale habitat. For example, here we have the paddy field. We actually share the same color scheme for the sky. So maybe when I will display them, maybe I will keep them separate to make them pop a little bit more. Or another one was, as I mentioned before, the storm one that has the same color scheme actually for the water. So here is the storm microscale habitat. It was also a pretty cool one. Now, if you like these microscale habitats, I highly recommend you to check out my moon-based space one here on my channel, and stay tuned because probably next week I will build one more of this and I will show you the complete collection of all the 10 microscale habitat stacked together. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Ciao, ciao!